Welcome back to Plan Life Right. I'm Kevin Ross.
I'm Matt Floyd. Kevin, last week we talked about the Medicare bill that shows up 2 years after the decision that caused it. This week I want to hear about the couple.
Okay, here's the couple.
Yeah, you mentioned them in the cliffhanger. 1.2 million saved, but they're both not sleeping.
Yeah, David and Linda, I think.
Okay.
All right, so David and Linda combined, they saved $1.2 million over 35 years of working. Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
David's 66, Linda's 64. The statements, they look great. The financial advisors says they're fine. And they're both lying awake at 2, 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling.
And what are they afraid of?
That the money's going to run out before they do.
Solving that retirement riddle. You don't want to be the punchline.
Yeah. It's not some hypothetical, distant fear. It's a specific, concrete, middle of the night terror that a bad year in the market at the wrong moment could permanently change what their retirement looks like.
Even with $1.2 million saved.
Yeah, even with $1.2 million saved. And here's the thing. They're not wrong to be afraid. Their fear is mathematically justified because a balance is not an income. And what David and Linda have is a balance. So today on Plan Life Right, the $1 million mistake that no one sees coming. Why the number on your statement is not the same as the security that it looks like. What actually makes a retirement safe. Okay, so let me start with the data point that tells the whole story. The number Americans say they need to retire comfortably in 2026, the so-called magic number, is 1.46 million. And 64% of Americans say their fear of running out of money is more than any fear, even death.
More than death. Running out of money.
Exactly, even more than death. Which means we have built an entire culture of retirement planning around hitting a number, and people are still terrified even when they hit it.
Because hitting the number doesn't actually answer the question that they're afraid of.
That's correct. It's the question is not, do I have enough saved? The question is, does the balance generate enough reliable monthly income to cover my costs for the next 30 years? And these are two completely different questions. We got David and Lyndon. They need $8,500 a month to live in the retirement as they planned. Got their Social Security combined, optimized, brings them about $4,200. It leaves about a $4,300 month gap every single month for as long as they live.
Right. So the 1.2 million has to produce $4,300 a month reliably on top of Social Security for at least 30 years.
Yeah, reliably, regardless of, what actually the market does, regardless of inflation, regardless of whether David needs long-term care at age 82. When you frame it that way, the 1.2 million looks a lot more fragile than it did on the statement. Here's the specific risk that is making David and Linda lose sleep. It's called sequence of return risk. And it's the most dangerous thing in retirement that almost no one explains clearly.
Now, I've heard the phrase, so explain it like the listener has never heard it.
Okay, so you got two investors. Each starts retirement with $1 million. Each withdraws $50,000 a year to live on, with small increases each year for inflation.
Right.
Over a 20-year period, they both earn the same exact average return. Same average, same withdrawals, but with different outcomes.
Well, how Do they have different outcomes if everything is the same?
Because the order of returns is different. Investor one, the market drops 15% in year one and year two. Then it recovers and grows the rest of the way. And we got investor two. They got strong gains for the first 9 years, and then that same 15% drop for the next 2 years. Then it recovers. Investor one, the one who got the bad years up front, ends up running out of money. Investor two, the one who got the bad years later, they still have money left.
The same average return, same withdrawals, one runs out, one doesn't.
Because when you're pulling money out every month and the market drops early, you're selling shares at their lowest value. Those shares are gone. It cannot recover on your behalf. The market comes back, but you don't own as many shares as you once did. You sold them at the bottom to pay your electric bill.
Yeah, Morningstar's research shows that poor returns in the first 5 years in retirement dramatically increase the probability of failure, even if the next 25 years are strong.
The first 5 years are the danger zone. And here's the brutal timing right now. Retirees who exited in 24 or early 25, walking into a market that's been volatile in 26, are inside that danger window today. This is not theoretical for them. I want to name a core problem directly. A balance on a statement is just a number.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many commas are in it, right?
Right. It goes up, it goes down. It depends on what the market did yesterday. It's not income.
Yeah, income shows up regardless.
Income shows up on the first of the month, whether the Dow is up or the Dow is down, whether inflation ran hot last quarter or it did not, whether David needs a hip replacement or whether the roof needs replacing. That is what Social Security does. That is what a pension does. That is the gap that 1.2 million in a 401k does not automatically fill.
Because a 401k, I mean, that's an accumulation vehicle. It was designed to grow a balance, not to generate a guaranteed paycheck.
Yeah, it was designed by people who were building wealth, not by people who were living off of it. And when you flip from building to spending, the rules change completely. The sequence risk we just described does not exist during accumulation.
Right.
When you're adding money every paycheck, a market drops is a buying opportunity, right?
Dollar cost averaging.
Right. When you're pulling money out every month, a market drop is a permanent loss.
So the $1 million mistake is not failing to save $1 million. It's arriving at retirement with $1 million and no plan to turn it into income.
Yep, and that's the mistake. And it's really invisible until the sequence goes wrong. David and Linda, 1.2 million, 2 a.m. They can feel it even if they cannot name it. So here's what we did with David and Linda.
Yeah, walk me through it, Kevin.
First, we stopped looking at the 1.2 million as a single pile of money, which so many people do. Then we divided it into 3 buckets, each one with a different job. Bucket 1, that's our now money. Cash equivalents, 2 to 3 years of income gap, fully funded. So let's call it around 100, 130, sitting in something stable and liquid.
Mm-hmm.
So if the market crashes the day that they retire, they do not sell a single share.
Right.
They live on the now money while the market recovers.
Yeah, that's the buffer that breaks that sequence risk chain. You're not forced to sell at the bottom because you have the next 2 to 3 years already sitting there in cash.
Yeah, that's exactly what it does. Then the bucket 2 is the soon money. That's where we close that income gap. That's a portion of the 1.2 million structured and guaranteed income products. My favorite.
The G word, guaranteed, is very important.
That's very important. So specifically, that falls in that fixed indexed annuity with a lifetime income rider. That product generates a guaranteed monthly income payment for as long as either David or Linda live, as long as they're alive.
Right.
It does not care what the market does. It does not run out.
Yeah, so the $4,300 monthly gap, that gets filled with a guaranteed check, not a withdrawal from a shrinking balance.
Yeah, that gap actually becomes the guaranteed income.
And whether they live another 100 years or 5 years, that income keeps coming in. It doesn't matter if the market goes down 10 years in a row, that income comes in like clockwork.
And the moment that happens, when they get that fixed indexed annuity, the sequence of return problem is now solved because you're no longer selling assets to live. The income arrives, the portfolio can grow, and it's on its own timeline now. And then we have bucket 3, and that's our later money. Everything left over, invested for growth over the next 15 to 20 years. This is the inflation fighter. You do not need it next year, okay? You need it in 2040 when everything costs 40% more. We just did a whole series on inflation in the last 60 years. And because the income gap is covered, you never have to sell this bucket at the wrong time.
3 buckets, 3 jobs, and the sequence risk that's waking them up every night at 2 o'clock in the morning, structurally eliminated.
David called me 2 weeks after we finished that plan. He said, Kevin, I slept through the night for the first time in 4 years. Nothing changed about the market, still volatile. Nothing changed about the economy. What changed is that the income is now guaranteed. And a guaranteed income is the only answer to a fear that a balance cannot resolve. So I want to close the content portion with this question that I like to ask every new client. Not what is your balance, but what percentage of your monthly expenses are covered by guaranteed income that does not require the market to cooperate?
And that is a completely different question than what most financial planning conversations start with.
Yeah, most planning conversations start with how much do you have and what rate of return do you need?
And
so, look, that's the accumulation question. That's what most advisors have only been taught. It's the wrong question for someone that is retiring. The right question is the income coverage ratio. If your guaranteed income covers 80 to 90% of your non-negotiable monthly expenses, your rent, your mortgage, your utilities, your health care, food, you can weather almost anything the market's going to throw at you. The portfolio becomes a source of growth and abundance, not a source of survival.
And the fear goes away not because the market got safer, but because you stop needing the market to behave.
Yeah, you stop needing that market to cooperate with.
I need the market to go up so I don't have to go get another job.
Exactly. and look, that's the monumental shift, okay? From hoping your balance holds to knowing that your income is going to show up. Okay, Matt, here's what I want every listener to do before they go to sleep at night.
Yeah, go to planliferight.com and take that retirement income scorecard.
It's free. It takes 7 minutes. And it asks you the income coverage ratio question that most financial planners never ask. What percentage of your monthly non-negotiables are covered by guaranteed income?
If the answer is less than 80%, that is the gap that is waking you up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And now you have a name for it: sequence of returns risk.
PlanLifeRight.com. Look at 7 minutes. Know your number before you need it.
Kevin, the advisors out there in the audience, I want to put a number on this. How many of the clients in a typical book of business have a distribution plan versus an accumulation plan?
That's a great question. In my experience, it's really, unfortunately, a small fraction. Most advisors are exceptional at growing assets. Very few have a formal process of converting those assets into a guaranteed income alternative. And the clients who are approaching retirement, they can fill that gap even if they cannot articulate it. That's why David and Linda, they were awake at night, 2 in the morning, with the $1.2 million in their bucket. They shouldn't have been, but they were.
Yeah, it's because their advisor was managing a balance and nobody was managing an income plan.
Yeah. If you're an advisor, go to advisorrescue.net. Schedule a strategy call. Look, we give you the distribution planning framework, the income gap analysis, the bucket architecture, the guaranteed income conversation, and how to present it in a way that makes clients feel what David felt after that plan was built.
And the advisor who can do that is the one who never loses a client to a competitor, because no one walks away from a person, who helped them sleep. And I bet you there's advisors out there that's like, I probably don't even have any clients that are worried about this. If you have clients calling you every day that the market goes down and they're in a panic and they're worried, those clients are feeling the sequence of returns risk because they're worried about running out of their money.
That's right. So go to advisorrescue.net. Okay, Matt, we're 3 episodes in. Social Security, Medicare, the balance that isn't income. Next week, we go into the account that most of you have been deferring taxes inside for your entire career.
The 401k.
The tax deferred account, and specifically what the IRS does at age 73, whether you're ready or not.
Required minimum distribution. The government's way of collecting on 30 years of tax deferral all at once on their schedule, not yours.
And the Roth conversion window, the years between 60 and 73 is the most valuable planning window most people sleepwalk right through. Next week, the RMD tax bomb hidden inside your 401k. And the 5-year plan that diffuses it before it goes off. Life happens fast.
Make sure your income's ready for it.
I'm Kevin Ross.
And I'm Matt Floyd.
This is Plan Life Right.